Hey folks, today we're going to be going over a sort of an unboxing and repacking of the new Western Legends. I think this is called the Legendary Box. It's basically was a Kickstarter for the big box, and you could also get an insert. Basically, so you could store everything in one big box rather than having the probably at most two boxes, the original main box and then one of the expansion boxes. You could probably get everything into that. But this will fit everything, everything official, I suppose I should say. There are the 3D printed terrains. Uh, the unofficial one will not fit in this box. The other one that has just the pieces, I think that was separate. It might have been the same. No, I think it's the same. That one, I don't believe that that entire set will fit in here. They did just, I think, release a video on Kickstarter on how to get it to fit, but you have to pull out a lot of the um, a lot of the trays that you potentially do not need. The insert trays to make that fit. So I'm just going to keep it separate. I've got the playmat, so I'm already going to have to carry around something extra outside of this box. So I'm just going to, I'll have those pieces separate, and it'll be what it is. I'll just use the insert for this. Um, we'll talk about the insert at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get this opened up. So I do have everything stored and set. On the top, I have the two, the little cloth bag that comes with the legendary tokens, and then the larger one that fits the poker chip legendary tokens. So those sit right on top. Gonna get this all out of the way here. Then I have the organizer, the for the game itself. So it kind of goes over how everything goes fits in there. I'll set that to the side. We'll come back to that. Like I said, it does fit everything but those 3D terrain pieces. So here's the prospecting deck that came with those 3D, the unofficial 3D terrain pieces. The rules for that. I am just using these reference sheets. I got rid of all the giant reference sheets. I still have them, but I'm not going to put them in here. I'm not going to use them. I'll probably end up pitching them at some point. But I think these are the updated reference sheet that goes over basically everything that a character would need to know or a player would need to know. The other ones I don't believe have the rolling the risk die on them. They don't have the repairing action. They might not have the traveling trader either. Then I have the the rules reference, the hardback with the bookmark. But this is basically just combines all the rules into one box or one book, so you can not have to have several different rule books you're looking between. It's a very nice book, very nicely well done. This isn't the one that came with this box. This is the one that came with. It might have been just even a separate purchase from their store. Then we have these card holders. Excuse me. These were extras for the insert. They said they had leftover wood, so they decided just to put these things together. I don't know if we're ever going to use them. Tend to just leave cards face down on the table, especially since it's supposed to all be hidden knowledge. And these don't seem like they're really going to hide the cards that well. But there are 6 of them. Then you have your board, your main board. Then we have a few different things. We have the gambler track over here. So this is where you've got the gambler track folds up, fits into this nicely right here. And then I also have the 2 first player tokens. I think these might have come with the 3D, the unofficial 3D inserts, but they fit right on top here. They're magnetic on the back, so you can sort of clip them onto a shirt pocket or something like that. And then everybody knows you're the first player. You're going to have your player boards here. So you're going to have the little storyboard, double-sided storyboard board that overlays onto the map. Then you have your player boards. They sit right on top of the expansion board here that goes Buzzard Gulch and that other side of the map. So that lays right on top of all that. We talked about this tray, so we'll pull that one out. Next, we have your poker chips over here. This is everything currently. So you have your 2 stacks of your legendary poker chips. I don't think with this insert there's any real way to keep them in the bag. You're going to have to take them out, put them in here, and then just lay the bag flat. Then you have your red Longhorn chips. You're going to have your green Longhorn chips, your blue Longhorn chips. You're going to have, or no, wait, the brown. The red are just a separate set, right? Oh, no, sorry, the red are the Outlaw chips. The Longhorn chips are the brown ones. They're over here. You're going to have the gambling chips. You're going to have the prospecting chips, as well as the... What are the orange ones? Are just another set of the Longhorns. And then the blue special chips, I had to split amongst the 4 different slots, just so they would fit nicer. These ones are kind of wedged in there a little bit, but they're still easy to get in and out. So let's get this out of there. Then you're going to have a couple of token trays here. So this token tray is basically all of those chips, all the poker chips, the original cardboard. So I'm essentially not going to be using this tray, but it's still there just to hold the bits. Same with this tray, all the Outlaw chips, as well as all of the original smaller chips, the time marker, first player marker, wound markers, etc. Over here you have the player trays. So these are kind of neat. There's 2 trays. So each of these shotgun shell casings holds the player pieces. I do have the metal Pharaoh token, so there's 2 of those. You got your player base, and then all your bits and bobs fit down inside of the shotgun shells. So all of that goes into the casing, kind of like shotgun pellets would, or shot wood, and sits in these trays. And it all seems to go in there. I don't think anything's going to fall out or anything of that nature. Put all that back in there with the 2 Pharaoh tokens on top. So that's how they sit, and they sit in these little boxes to hold them. These are loose on top, but they are metal, so they'll probably hold them down well enough. But you're definitely not going to want to store this box on its side, otherwise that's just all going to spill out. Then we have the 3D buildings tray. I have the 3. What is this? This is the saloon, the barrels, or is that the general store? That's... Well, anyways, I've got the barrel buildings here. I've got the 3 the Longhorn buildings here. I've got the doctor's office here. I've got 2 of the stables here. I've got the cabaret here. I've got the gambling hall, the saloons here. I've got the bank here. I've got 2 rail stations here. I've got the 2 sheriff's offices here. I've got the 3 mines here. I've got the outlaw token spots all here. All 6 of them will fit here. And then I've got the big mine here. The train token will fit there, and then the traveling, or what's it called? Rolling Emporium, Rolling Emporium token will go right there. As you can see, I still need to prime all of these, because this is how they came in the Kickstarter with all this weird, I think they were trying to do some sort of basically the dye wasn't mixed, and it was supposed to be a lighter brown, and it just looks like garbage. So I've still got to prime all these, repaint them brown, and then paint the tops so that the symbols stand out. So let's get that off to the side here. Then we have the little minis tray. This is going to fit all of your miniatures. I have one open to spare. There's a big two-piece here, or not a two-piece, a double. I guess there's no divider here. I use that to fit the gentleman here that has the flowing cape, as well as the Indian that is carrying the hatchet and the long rifle, to fit there, because they were kind of having trouble fitting in the smaller sections. Other than that, they're all in there. I believe I basically have all my bandits up here with the stickers on the bottom of them. So that's these 5 here. Right? 5? That's all there is? Or is there 6? I think there's just 5. Yeah. So those are all there. I was hoping I'd be able to keep the gray bases on them, but the gray bases will not fit down in here. I guess I could maybe put them right like that, but that might be difficult to get out. I'm just going to keep them in a separate tray. That's the small minis tray. Then over here we have another token tray. These are all the non-metal Pharaoh tokens, just the cardboard ones. I have the 3 map tokens here, as well as the gray outlaw tokens. There should be 6 of them. And the 1 brown sheriff token. Or base, rather. Next, we have the prospecting tray. It's got all your prospecting tokens, your gold nuggets, your 2 prospecting dice, and I went ahead and threw the red die, the risk die in there as well, just to kind of be consolidated. There's one last token tray down in here, and that's where I have all of the deed, the plot, the land tokens that go out on the expansion board. Then we have the large card tray, where I've got everything separated out how I want it. I've got the card deck here. I have the player characters here. Back here is the old. This is the old deck of the story cards. I've got the outlaw. This deck here. I can't remember what it's called. I have the titles cards separated out. I have there's a new Sheriff in Town expansion separated out. I have these are all the Western Legend, the original cards that came with the set that I removed, that were replaced by cards from the expansions. And then here are the Blood Money cards that I have not used. Over here I have the Posse and Gang cards. Right here I have the original card deck, with the expansion, with the cards that I pulled out from the original, was it Ante Up? I think it's Ante Up expansion that were replaced in here. So this deck is not used. I just keep it around because to keep it. And then in the very back I have the Man in Black deck of cards. So that is the large card tray. Then we have the small card tray here, and I have everything separated out similarly. You'll have your new story cards that'll go here. Over on this side, I have the item cards, all alphabetized. They're just in 3 separate sections. And then in the very back, I have the individual item cards that don't have a set of 3 or 4. Then behind that, I have... These are the legendary cards, legendary items. Then behind that, I have the item setup deck, the random setup deck. These actually might be... Yeah, this is the legendary item deck. That's what this is. Then I have the monies separated out into the 10s and 20s. I have the prospecting deck that came with the 3D printed mountains. I have all of the hero goal cards. Then I have the deed cards back here. I have the event cards. I have the train station, train robbery, train event cards. I have the injury cards. I have the rolling Emporium cards, and then I have the two different, I think these are different, I haven't actually looked, the NPC fight cards. And that's the the small card tray. Then we have 3 more token trays. They're stacked on top of each other. This one I use to keep the actual D tokens. Below that, we have the tray that keeps the Man in Black tokens and all the smaller tokens. And then at the very bottom, we have the original cardboard legendary point tokens that would go in the small bag. I'm just going to put all those back. We have your traveling trader and your trading post here. They're kind of put together like almost like a pair of shoes and stored there. And then right here we have the lid for the actual general store. This is the wooden general store that you get separately, and then this is part of the insert. It basically just goes on top of it to kind of make sure you have something flat to set stuff on. There we go. So that's pretty much it. That's the insert. That's how everything goes back in. So this is going to be your bottom layer with your 3 similarly sized little token trays here. I'll kind of put all this back in here a little bit. So that goes on there. Then we have this that goes there. Then we have the little token tray that goes, or the little mini tray that goes here. And we have the 3D buildings that go there. Then we have your player shotgun shell trays that go here. Your poker chips are going to go over here. My trays that I'm not going to use anything out of because they're the pieces that were placed by the poker chips. I'm going to go right here. Then we have the gambler track tray, which sits right on top of there. You have your expansion board, which fits there. Your player boards go on top of it. Your storyboard goes there. You're going to have your main map that goes there. You're going to fit your card holders here. Just like that. Then you would put your rule books, or your hardbound rule book in this case for me, there. I've got my reference sheets on top. I've got the organizer there, the little prospecting deck instructions, and the two bags. I honestly have never used this bag, but I just want to keep everything together, keep it consolidated, so that if this ever does get sold, then somebody has everything. And they will be thoroughly confused as to why there's doubles of everything and why you have big poker chips with the little cardboard tokens and you don't use both of them, and so forth and so on. So that is the legendary box for Western Legends, the storage solution. Now that we've gone over all of that, let's talk about this insert. Get all this back out of here. I appreciate them having leftover wood and providing this. I understand not wanting to waste wood, right? But this wood that they use for this insert is a hair above balsa wood. It is not the same quality of wood that you're going to get from like Laser Rocks or any of the other inserts. companies. I'm not sure what company they used, but it is not very good wood at all. It was relatively easy to punch out. However, it is very prone to splitting, and it is very prone to what I like to call flaking. That's where like one of the outside layers of the wood just peels away, like flakes off. And it seemed to happen a lot on the tabs where you insert the tabs into the slots. Those tabs would flake, and you'd have a thinner tab than you would need. So like I said, the wood is not very strong, and these shotgun shell player pieces are a nightmare to put together. There is a little, there's a little wooden ring in here that sits on top. That's what these pieces sit on top of. This is especially weak. When you put these together, when you put these side pieces on, basically you're going to take this ring here and you're going to put these side pieces on first, then you're going to put the bottom piece on. When you're putting these side pieces on, you're going to need, don't hold it from this side and push forward this. You're going to need to put your finger here and hold this here. Otherwise, you're just going to collapse this and crush this. They do give you multiples of both that inner ring and the bottom ring. And thankfully, that's the case because you're going to break them. Those are the only spare pieces you have. But if you were going to do that, instead of giving me player tray card holders, print me off more. I don't think we're going to use these at all. They don't look like they're going to be able to hold the card or hide the cards in a game where you have to have your cards hidden. This isn't going to work. Maybe if this was curved, right? But in a straight line, that's not going to work. You're going to be able to see everybody's cards. Don't give us these. Give us extra spare sides so that if we mess up the side pieces here, we have spares and extras. Additionally, my sheets of wood, I had two sheets that were almost an entirely different color than the other ones. A darker shade of brown, like they had been stained or something had gotten spilled on them, essentially. I had sheets of wood where it looked like somebody had taken a razor knife and just gone down, the whole length of the piece of wood, and there was a slight cut in the wood. It wasn't enough to like bend or break, but like that first layer of wood was cut. The precision on the cuts is also not very good. You're going to have pieces that are you're going to have tabs that are way too thick to fit in the slots. Do not try to force them, otherwise you will break them. That happened with a couple of these, the shotgun ones as well, as them being weak. The tabs were just too, the tabs on this inner circle were just too thick to go into the slots on the side pieces. They do give you a piece of sandpaper. I don't know what I did with it. It was laying around here somewhere. That you will need to use to sand these things down to get them to fit. There's also some of the tabs that were basically entirely too loose, and I had to. You're gonna have to glue, so you're gonna have to get your wood glue out. And there were some pieces where I basically had to put a little bit of glue on, hold the piece in place, and either sit there and hold it for 10-15 minutes, or figure out a way to like lean it up against something to where it would keep constant pressure on it, so that it would be a tight fit, or would fit how it should. You're going to need a rubber mallet, especially when you're doing the bottoms of these. So when you're pounding or when you've got the bottom piece here and you're trying to line it up with all these 8 slots here, or these 8 tabs, don't just try to force it down with your thumb. You're going to want to basically set this like this on something hard and firm. Take a rubber mallet and tap it until you get it all started, and then finish it off. Probably a good idea to use a rubber mallet on some of the larger trays as well, because there are a lot of tabs. And if you're like I said, the wood is not very good quality, and it flexes a lot. And so I was concerned that if I applied too much pressure with my thumbs or fingers over a smaller section of the wood, it's just going to snap. Versus I have a big rubber mallet that's like yay big, that I was able just to hit a larger area. I mean, obviously not play it, don't hit it like you're playing whack-a-mole, just light taps. But you are going to have to glue. You are going to need some sort of mallet, hobby mallet, rubber mallet, whatever you want to use. Ideally, you could probably get this together without those things, but it's a good idea to have them. Not impressed with this insert at all. Its design is great. It's wonderfully designed. Execution is terrible. And like I said, don't give me cards trays. Give me extra piece. If your insert's going to be so poor quality on wood that I'm going to be breaking pieces, you need to don't give me card trays that are essentially useless in my opinion. Give me spare pieces. Anyways, that's my rant on the insert quality. I'll put all this back up here. Get the box back on. Or box lid back on. There is about, with all of that in there is about maybe 1/4 of an inch of lid lift, which is not terrible. I think if you had, instead of having the hardbound book, you have the individual paper instruction manuals, then you probably wouldn't have that much lid lift. I think that's what's actually given a lot of the lid lift. But anyways, that is the Western Legends Legendary Box storage solution, with basically everything but the 3D printed buildings, and obviously the neoprene mat is not going to fit in here. Thanks for watching, guys.